They were forgotten, buried in silence. Cases left to rot in dusty archives while families waited for answers that never came. But in 2025, something changed. DNA spoke louder. AI saw deeper. And the dead finally had their say. This isn't just another true crime countdown. These are the top 5 cold cases that came roaring back from the grave. Each one cracked wide open by breakthroughs no one saw coming. A killer exposed by a whisper in a nursing home. A Jane Doe finally named after 23 years. A staged robbery unraveled by artificial intelligence. These aren't just solved mysteries, they're justice delayed but not denied. If you think time buries the truth, think again. Because in 2025, the past refused to stay silent. And what we uncovered will haunt you. If you're obsessed with dark history, unsolved mysteries, and the power of forensic storytelling, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment with the cold case you want us to crack next. And share this with someone who still believes justice has no expiration date. Because here we don't just tell stories. We resurrect them. In 2025, justice came for the forgotten. Cold cases, some buried for decades, were cracked wide open by breakthroughs in forensic science, digital analysis, and sheer persistence. These aren't just solved crimes. They're stories of closure, redemption, and the power of truth. Here are the top 5 cold case comebacks that defined 2025. Case 1, Diane Peterson, the DNA that waited 40 years. 985. Oregon. Diane Peterson leaves her office at 5:42 p.m. She never makes it home. Her car is found abandoned on a logging road. Purse untouched. Keys still in the ignition. No signs of struggle. No suspects. The case freezes. In 2025, forensic-grade genome sequencing reanalyzes a degraded DNA sample taken from beneath Diane's fingernails. The match? A distant relative of Earl Matheson, a logger with a criminal record who died in 2002. His DNA had been preserved from a prior arrest. Investigators confirmed the match through triangulated genealogy and archived fingerprints. Matheson had worked near Diane's office. He'd been questioned in 1985 but dismissed due to lack of evidence. The new DNA analysis proves he attacked her during a chance encounter. Diane fought back. That fight preserved the evidence that solved her case. Her family, now in their 70s, finally receives confirmation. The case is closed. Diane's name is cleared. Her story, no longer a mystery. Case 2, Sean Daniel Bronner, bones in the field, 1986. Ida, Michigan. A farmer discovers skeletal remains in a cornfield. No ID. No match in missing persons databases. The remains are cataloged as John Doe 1986-07. The case goes cold. In 2025, Monroe County detectives partner with Othram Labs. Using advanced DNA extraction and familial tracing, they identify the remains as Sean Daniel Bronner, missing from Detroit since June 1986. His family had reported him missing, but early database limitations failed to connect the dots. The breakthrough comes from a second cousin's DNA submission to a genealogy site. Investigators trace Sean's last known movements to a shared apartment with a man named Curtis Vance. Vance had a violent history and died in 1999. Cause of death, blunt force trauma. Vance is posthumously named as the prime suspect. Sean's remains are returned to his family. A proper burial replaces decades of silence. The case is officially closed. Case 3, Louisa Dunn, the confession that came too late. 91. Manchester, UK. Louisa Dunn, a 23-year-old art student, disappears after leaving a gallery opening. Her body is found 5 days later in a canal. No witnesses. No suspects. The case stalls. In 2025, a Channel 4 documentary revisits the case. A nurse watching the program recognizes the victim's photo. Days earlier, a patient at her care facility, 92-year-old Ryland Headley, had whispered, "I put the girl in the water." Police reopened the case. Headley's fingerprints, archived from a 1960s arrest, match partial prints found on Louise's purse. He had worked as a janitor near the gallery. Interviews reveal a pattern of erratic behavior and prior accusations of harassment. Headley dies 3 days after the confession. The case is closed. Louise's family receives official confirmation. The truth, delayed by decades, finally arrives. Case 4, Illinois, Jane Doe, a face after 23 years. 2002. A woman's body is found near a highway in rural Illinois. No ID. No missing person match. She becomes Jane Doe 2002 ill. Her face is reconstructed. Her story remains unknown. In 2025, forensic genealogy identifies her as Marissa Cole, a woman who fled domestic abuse in Indiana and disappeared in late 2001. Her DNA matches a maternal cousin who submitted a sample to a public database. Investigators trace Marissa's last known movements to a truck stop in Effingham, Illinois. Surveillance footage from 2001 shows her with Victor Hale, a long-haul driver now serving time for unrelated assaults. Hale is questioned. He denies involvement, but tire tread analysis and witness statements place him at the scene. Charges are pending. Marissa's name is restored. Her story is reclaimed. Her family, unaware she had died, receives the news with grief and relief. The case is reopened, but her identity is no longer lost. Case 5. Everett Armstrong, the AI that saw what humans missed. 93. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Everett Armstrong, a retired teacher, is found dead in his home. The scene suggests a robbery gone wrong. Police suspect a break-in. No arrests. The case goes cold. In 2025, a new AI-driven forensic tool reanalyzes the crime scene photos. The software flags inconsistencies in blood spatter, object placement, and entry points. It suggests the scene was staged. Investigators revisit Armstrong's financial records. Large withdrawals were made days before his death. The trail leads to his nephew, Caleb Armstrong. Caleb had an alibi and was never considered a suspect. AI-enhanced voice analysis of Caleb's 911 call reveals deception markers, hesitation, pitch shifts, and scripted phrasing. Confronted with the evidence, Caleb confesses. He had killed Everett over a disputed inheritance and staged the scene to mimic a robbery. Caleb is arrested. The case is closed. AI didn't just assist, it solved. 5 cases. 5 families. 5 truths that refused to stay buried. In 2025, cold cases didn't just thaw, they ignited. DNA, AI, and human persistence converged to rewrite history. For every case solved, hundreds remain. But these breakthroughs prove one thing: the past speaks. You just have to know how to listen. Justice delayed is not always justice denied.